Hey everyone, it is Tasty Taste from Blood of Kittens, and in this week that tournaments that we're going to talk about, of all things, Imperial Guard doing something at a tournament. Right after this, you got it. Quick intro! Hello and welcome back to the week that was in Warhammer 40k tournaments, where we speed through some winning lists from the previous weekend. Last weekend saw 8 events with at least 5 rounds and 28 players with 2 major events. This is the healthiest meta Warhammer 40k has seen in some time, with 12 factions grabbing a podium and no one faction with more than 4 spots. With that, let's take a sample look at some of the lists that stood out from the 8 tournaments over last weekend. Let's start with the Salt City GT with over 50 players, where Chaos Space Marines scored their first place win, helmed by Anthony Vanella. Anthony's list went heavy into Emperor's Children, fighting first at every opportunity. But Anthony couldn't help himself, he just had to take the ultimate force multiplier in Abaddon. Anthony went through a gauntlet of 8 games, going 7-1-0 by facing Iron Hands, Nids, Sisters, Blood Angels, Death Guard, Thousand Suns. Then he tied Blood Angels, and then finally once again beat Thousand Suns. Heading to Spain, we have the GT de Madrid, with almost 60 players, and Victor Manuel Gil Roca getting first place with Sisters of Battle. Not straying from type, Victor's list went with Bloody Rose and the usual suspects of units, but he did include the rarely seen Dominion squad with artificial crafted Stormbolters for 2 damage goodness. Victor had an 8-0 marathon through a Sisters mirror match, Blood Angels, Necrons, Thousand Suns, Chaos Knights, Tyranids, Chaos Knights again, and then finally beating Tau. Now to the biggest event of the weekend, with over 200 players, the Lone Star Open, and second place finisher, just by points, Brad Townsend with his fantastic Thousand Suns. Brad's list was very simple, a bunch of characters, Rubric Marines, and Scarab Terminators, but it was the Rubrics where the secret sauce was in this list, with 3 units of Warp Flamers taking advantage of the recent point reductions and good AP. Brad went 6-0 by beating Imperial Guard, Grey Knights, Eldari, more Grey Knights, Orcs, and finally Sisters of Battle. At the Overwatch Battle Royale 2 30-player event, Igor Kellen grabbed first place with the newly invigorated Necrons. Igor spammed the board with tons of small units, while a Silent King buffed the 2 large units of Destroyers and Lich Guard to keep his opponent's biggest threats at bay. Igor went 5-0 by facing Death Guard, Space Wolves, Sisters of Battle, more Sisters, and finally Tyranids. To Hamburg, Germany, we get the Baltic Cup 9 preparation tournament. 47 players and Caillou Olena's first place Tyranids. Undaunted by the mounds of nerfs Tyranids have been hit with, Caillou went with Jamongar for lots of sneaking around and tons of minimum size squads flooding the board. Caillou went 5-0 against Tau, Sisters, Death Guard, and finally Harlequins. Moving across the channel to England and the 45-player Glasshammer GT number 9, where Daniel Whittaker's Eldari got second place by points. Daniel went with the usual Harlequin spamming of troops, but he also decided to utilize a webway portal for some extra threat. This made sure that Daniel's army could really strike from anywhere, and depending on the terrain he had, protect his entire army from first turn shooting. Daniel went 5-0, going through Custodes, Space Wolves, Necrons, Blood Angels, and Blood Angels again. Back to North America and the 50-player showdown at Frogtown. Thomas Ogden's Tau proved he didn't need pure Crisis Suit spam to dominate with the first place podium. Down to just 12 suits, not including characters, Thomas adapted by taking the new hotness like Sunshark Bombers. Thomas Rode went through Eldari, Chaos Space Marines, Bloody Rose Sisters, Tyranids, and then he finally beat up on Orcs. The last event is the 45-player Grand Tournament Hidalgo, and Sebastian Flores Diaz Imperial Guard sneaking in with a 3rd place finish. The Imperial Guard, while still not the best army, are seeing at least a few people experimenting with them. Sebastian was pretty unique, with tons of bodies to protect his 6 Lehman Russ tanks. Sebastian went 4-1 by tangling with Chaos Space Marines, losing to Drukhari, then beating Imperial Guard, Sisters, and Tyranids. Well, that will do it for this week. Thanks for watching. But if the meta has a problem, it would be the secondary game for certain factions that just are much better than others, making certain matchups an auto win. As always though, don't forget, if you want to see the rest of the top 3 lists in detail, click on the links in the description below. And as always, if you like this content, please leave a comment, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and ring that bell. Thanks again.